It's just a big game and a chance to win a big game against a really good opponent.
It's a win that's at stake. We got to go out there and just play the best game of Notre Dame football that we can play.
Somebody's going to break, and it's in the other locker room.
This is a great opportunity to show everyone around the country the type of team that we have here.
It's another step on the building block to a national championship.
Let's go!
These are the type of games you want to play in. More so, these are the type of games that you want to win.
Welcome to Soldier Field in the Windy City, where Wisconsin and Notre Dame are looking to face off for the first time since 1964. And I know that both teams are keeping things really PC and saying all the right things, but the game is kind of a big deal for both Wisconsin and for Notre Dame quarterback Jack Conn. Conn, a former Badger, as recently as last season, and Wisconsin has lost the last 6 games against ranked teams. It's a big deal. This is Countdown to Game Day.
Yes,
Hey,
it is.
I'm Christine Williamson. He's Harry Lyles. Harry, it's cold outside.
It's a little chilly, but honestly, like, I'm kind of enjoying it. I got a nice little jacket on. Like,
Harry bought this jacket
Christine's
yesterday
dress.
just for y'all.
I did.
Just for y'all.
I did. I also didn't pack a jacket.
It's okay.
Is that bad?
I just want to warn everybody that there are bees out here, so if I happen to take off running
Christine
in some
is
direction,
right
as long as I don't go backwards and
Right
fall,
in.
that's the most important thing. We like to start every show with something called The Top, where we take a little time to talk about what we're excited about this
Yes.
week. Harry, what are you excited about?
I'm excited to see what Notre Dame does this week, right?
Uh-huh.
This is a big week for them. This is the first of 4 games that they've got where we get to see what they're made of, right? They get Wisconsin this week, you get Cincinnati, you get Virginia Tech, you get North Carolina. If they're able to win today's game, that kind of sets the table for the rest of those. I think out of the 4 of those, Cincinnati might be the toughest one, but you have to come out today and show us, are you actually the Notre Dame that we believe you to be, or
Right.
are you the team that beat Toledo by 3 points?
Okay.
So that's the one thing that I'm looking forward to. What are you looking forward to?
Okay, I am most looking forward to, everybody knows I like to talk about Big 12 football. That's going to change in 2025 when Texas and Oklahoma leave. But I'm most excited to see Oklahoma dominate the Big 12. And they absolutely have to do it with the first game against West Virginia. West Virginia obviously beat they bet them, a 15th ranked Virginia Tech team last week. Virginia Tech, of course, beat UNC when they were ranked 10th. So I feel like Oklahoma, as they start Big 12 play, has to separate themselves from the rest of the Big 12 conference. Okay, if this team is going to be in the SEC in a few years, they have to show that they absolutely dominate the Big 12 and that they can stay at that number 4 spot in the AP rankings, because they want to be back in the CFP this season, obviously. And so I'm just excited to see Oklahoma. Now, West Virginia can absolutely ruin this. I mean, they can ruin their whole entire thing, and that would be bad for Oklahoma, obviously, but great for West Virginia. So
I mean, but it would also make things interesting, right? I will say this. You and I watched the Oklahoma game last week together at State College. If they're making plays like that one-handed interception,
amazing.
I think that they will probably be
Everybody was shook. Everybody was shook. Yeah.
And Spencer Rattler, you know, I think, too, we're in this place where, like, we expect a lot out of these young quarterbacks in college football, right? Like, you expect, you know, freshmen, sophomores to just come out here and automatically ball out. I think Rattler still, you know, he's a very raw talent, but as the year goes along, I think that we're going to see that Oklahoma team, you know, that we expect to dominate the Big 12.
Speaking of Spencer Rattler, he was one of the guys that we were talking about before the season started being possible Heisman contender. Now, we're going to do a new thing. It's called 3 Big Things. We're going to talk about 3 big things that are happening in college football every single week, and we're going to start talking about the Heisman race. So Caesars has Ole Miss quarterback Matt Corral. The kid had 7 touchdowns versus Tulane last week. And Alabama quarterback Bryce Young tied for best Heisman odds. And nobody else is really close. Spencer Rattler right after them, but like not even close. So how do you feel about that?
I mean, we saw what Ole Miss did to Tulane last week.
Right.
If you're going to put up points like that in that offense, I think that he is one of the only players in SEC history to have 7 total touchdowns.
Yeah.
He had 4 on the ground, 3 through the air, I believe.
Kind of a big deal.
If you're going to be that type of offensive monster, if you're Matt Corral, you have to love your odds. And that I mean, it shows in it, right?
Right.
You know, I think with Bryce Young, anybody who is the quarterback of Alabama at this point, especially with the explosive offense that we see now, right? Like, these are not the Alabama teams of old where they're defense heavy. The offense is like, hey, do enough to keep you guys in the game. That's why Bryce Young should like his chances as well. But with Matt Corral and that Ole Miss offense with Lane Kiffin, it's hard to beat that.
You mentioned Lane Kiffin and Matt Corral. There was something that happened a couple of weeks ago, or a week ago. Lane Kiffin, really excited about Arch Manning. He was the only person that Coach Kiffin was following on Instagram, and Corral got a little mad about that. Would you be salty about that if you were his current quarterback? Arch Manning, a 2023 recruit, right?
Right.
Obviously, he's the nephew of Peyton and Eli.
He's a Manning. That's all that matters.
He's a Manning. He's Cooper Manning's son. So that means he's the nephew of Peyton and Eli. But, would you be mad about that?
I mean, I think that this is a great play by Lane Kiffin. He knows that by doing this, we are going to be talking about it, right? And this is a play not just for the young Manning, obviously, but, it's fun. Like, he does things. That's a guy that you want to play for. He's loose. Like, this old coach stuff where it's like, oh, I don't do snap face and, insta butt and all that kind of stuff.
Don't know what's going on.
That's lame. Like what all these different social media platforms are. Like, you need to be able to relate to your players, keep things fresh like that. People want to be part of a program that gets a lot of attention, especially now with NIL.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great play by Lane Kiffin.
Okay. I would be salty if I was Matt Corral. I'm not going to lie. Especially if I just had 7 touchdowns against Tulane.
I'm not shocked by that issue.
Anyways, don't listen to him. Okay, so third big 3 thing. One of these things is not like the other. This is one of the most interesting things that I saw. ESPN's FPI rankings ranks the top teams who you'd expect. Bama, Georgia, Oklahoma, Ohio State, Clemson, and then it's Michigan. So what's even crazier is that if preseason projections were removed from the formula, the Wolverines would actually be number 1, and they are currently ranked number 19 in the AP poll. Harry, outside of a time machine, what is it going to take for you to buy that Michigan is a top college football team right now?
Okay, so was it last week that we were talking about Jim Harbaugh renaming the drill the Beat Ohio drill? Okay, that's probably a good start. You should probably be able to beat Ohio State. If you cannot beat your biggest rival, he has not done that since he's been at Michigan. You've got to be able to beat Ohio State. Ohio State is the standard in your conference, right? Like every year when we look at playoff contenders, when we look at the Big Ten, the first question we ask is, what is Ohio State doing?
Yeah.
And if Ohio State is down, that opens the door for Michigan, that opens the door for Michigan State, it opens the door for Wisconsin, who's playing today here. It opens the door for Iowa on one of these weird years that keeps Kirk Ferentz giving him his job. I think that you got to start there, but I mean, you got to show us something.
Right.
You can't 9-3 can't be the standard at Michigan if that's going to be the case. But they've got their best quarterback, I think, since probably Wilton Spate. So maybe this is the year for Michigan. Who knows?
Michigan, the number 1 team in the country. You guys didn't even know it. There is a number 17 Texas A&M taking on Arkansas. They're number 16. They're taking on Arkansas in Arlington. That game is today. That is a very big game.
Big game.
Here is some big game sound.
They are just running wild. Touchdown, Hawks.
We have a veteran line. Our quarterback's able to run the ball, and that puts a lot of pressure on defenses.
They can spread you out. They hit big shots and chunk plays down the field, and the quarterback can create a lot of plays with his legs.
Just containing those guys and being able to be perfect in the secondary is going to be important.
Over the middle, picked off. O'Neal will take it to the end zone.
They're big, they're physical, and they play with unbelievable effort.
We've got experience, we've got talent, but we're merging into that talent, but I think the tenacity of which we compete with is the best.
All right, we are now joined by our guy, David Pollack, who, I don't know if you guys know this, he's kind of a big deal. Last week at State College, he took a jet to Georgia to go get inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. So I just wanted to ask you.
You realize that's not a big deal. Kirk does that every week.
But
College Football Hall of Fame part.
Hey, you didn't see that grin on his face, though. He feels good about that, PJ.
It was
awesome.
Yeah, I bet.
I invited y'all back. I said y'all want to go back.
I don't live in Atlanta, but I would have taken it anyways. However, how was the moment for you?
It was cool. That's Mama and Daddy right there next to me. So
love that.
That was fun to have Mama and Daddy in on it.
But you feel like it's a big deal, no?
No, let's go on. Let's talk. Like, there's a lot better matchups.
A lot better matchups. Talk about himself. Okay, so we got Texas A&M versus Arkansas, number 7 versus 16. The Razorbacks are riding a 3-game win streak going into this one. They won most of those games by 15-plus points. That's the first time since 1998 that's happened. They have one of the best rushing attacks in the country, but they faced one of the worst rushing defenses in the country. Where does that matchup rank in determining this game to you?
Well, and A&M's, I think, one of the best defenses in the country. And so far, they've been suffocating. They haven't played very many good offenses. So this is always tricky because you go, I don't know a lot about you. I don't know a lot about you. What we're going to find out. I think what I've seen from A&M, I've seen the vulnerability from quarterback runs. I saw it against Colorado. So I think this is going to be a really good game. I would not be surprised if Pig Sooie jumps up and gets an upset.
And for Texas A&M, they're working with Zach Calzada this week. Yep. What can they do to make his life a little bit easier?
Run the ball. I mean, that's what you're best at anyways. You got Spiller. A-Chain, by the way, is going to be the next freak. Smith plays receiver, plays running back. He can play all over the field. Listen, A&M last year, they got to where they got because they were a power run team. They just ran the football. Kellen Mond wasn't throwing it all over the yard. So I think they have to be able to do that, especially when you're playing with a backup quarterback. So I think their running game has been their thing. But this is Coach Corso's thing, by the way.
Choosing really fast. Okay. Wisconsin, you got Wisconsin. People booing because I feel like a lot of these people in the crowd right now are Notre Dame fans. Okay, Notre Dame.
He's going to kiss Wisconsin. He's going to kiss Wisconsin.
You think?
Yeah. Oh, no. That's his love.
Look at that.
Wow.
Usually he'll go Oppo, whatever he does first, he usually changes last.
What do you think?
I'm leaning Wisconsin now.
Okay.
I'm leaning Wisconsin for Coach Corso's pick.
Okay, well, let's talk about that matchup then. We got number 12 Notre Dame versus number 18 Wisconsin. I love the drama. I love that Jack Cohn is playing his former team. Like, I feel like that's a big deal. However, what kind of challenges do you think that Wisconsin's defense will present for Notre Dame?
Wisconsin's defense is already good.
Yeah.
Now this is a guy that you practice against every day. You know his limitations.
True.
You know his strengths. So I think you're going to know what you need to take away. Other end, too, Jack Cohn's going to know their defensive system and their calls, a lot of their stuff that they do, what they like to do. So here's the thing. Jack Cohn's not pissed at players.
Right.
Yeah. Players didn't have nothing to do with it.
That's true.
Right.
But if you don't think Jack Cohn wants to come in there and stick it up to Wisconsin's Heine for what they did, like, you are out your mind. Like, he wants to give it to him. So I think it'll be fun to watch. Can he manage his emotions? Because he wants to stick it to him. He's shown some toughness this year. His fingers out of socket. They snap it back in place. He throws a touchdown. But I like Jack Cohn. This doesn't look like Notre Dame, though. They can't run the football at all. Right. Their offensive line is bad. Like all the good years we've seen.
Yeah. So, I mean, with Wisconsin, obviously, they don't hate Jack, but they probably want to kick his butt. So, like, and Heine, correct. So, like, defensively, obviously, right, we know we're going to see a lot of juice, energy out of them, but as a complete game, what is it going to look like if Wisconsin's going to come out of here with a win?
Well, Wisconsin's offense and Notre Dame's offense, and they're not setting the world on fire. Like, this is an under game. I don't even know what the over-under is, but it's an under game. Like, they don't score a bunch of points. Wisconsin's been horrible in the red zone. And listen, Graham Mertz, the reason Jack Cohn's gone is because of Graham Mertz and that sensational start.
Yeah.
We've also never seen it again.
Yeah. Right.
Like, he's never had a day like that in his life again. So it's a struggle on offense. They can run the football. They're going to try to keep the game close, try to not make mistakes, which when remember Penn State game, that's all they did. Fumble the ball in the red zone. They convert a fourth down right near the goal line. Looks like it's out of hand, like a minute something left, and they're going to run the ball in here and finish it. They're going to win, fumble the snap, recover, almost lose the snap, get it back, throw an interception. They turn the ball over and haven't been productive in the red zone.
All right, let's go Nebraska, Michigan State. Sparty's first Big Ten test. What stands up to you in this matchup?
Why are you so scared?
There's the V.
It's a V, dog.
There's the V.
Hey, listen, good fight last week from Nebraska. They showed us that they're going to fight. That's great. Like, I love seeing that. They just, offensively, I don't know who they are. Peyton Thorne, I know who he is. So I'll roll with Michigan State. I've seen them do it time and time again, but this should be, again, what we're seeing across college football. Another low-scoring game probably. But Nebraska definitely showed me something last week at least.
Do you think that Michigan State, regardless of outcome here, could kind of really just continue this momentum that they've got going this year? Because last year was terrible, right?
Yeah.
I believe last year was the first year since like 1965 that they didn't have a player drafted into the NFL, which that's a long time.
Yeah.
But it seems like Mel Tucker's like really got this thing on the right track. Like, do you think that, again, regardless of outcome today, they could kind of keep that going into their Big Ten schedule?
I do. I think they'll keep it going. They were awful last year. They've been awful the last couple years, not competitive. Kenneth Walker out of the backfield, transfer from Wake Forest. He gives them a legit guy back there, a legit punch, and then Peyton Thorne can run, can throw. So Jay Johnson's a great offensive coordinator. Mel Tucker's gone to the transfer portal like crazy, fixed a lot of holes. So I don't think they're going anywhere. I don't think they're going to be elite. 8 in the Big Ten, but I think they can scare anybody they play on their schedule in the Big Ten, which is not what we could have said about them years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
And then,
last couple years.
Another game, LSU Mississippi State.
Tell me what to expect.
Hey, no. See, hold on a second.
Okay.
I love this matchup because it is the rematch of last year's game, Week 1.
Hold on.
We were all ready to give KJ Costello the Heisman Trophy.
Get on the bandwagon.
Week 1.
Hold on. LSU just gave up another passing touchdown. That just happened.
So
Stingley Jr. is not playing, by the way.
Right.
He's out.
So who's got the edge in this one?
I don't know. I mean, I'd love to sit up.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'd love to wax poetically up here, and I don't. Dude, I never know what I'm gonna get from LSU.
Yeah.
I have no clue, dude.
So how about this? What does this game mean for Coach O if they lose this one?
It ain't good. It ain't good. No, and we'll have him on the show today to talk to him. But listen, LSU fans remember the Natty, and they remember the undefeated.
Yep.
They still remember it, but the more days that go by, the less they remember it. And he's made coordinator changes since then, has had to, and it's not gone the way LSU. Listen, the talent on this field, if we line up and we go off the bus trick, like Mississippi State starts walking off their bus, LSU starts walking off their bus. We're not going to take very many Mississippi State players. No. I'm going to be like, LSU,
right.
okay,
Yeah, that's very true.
You. So they should win these games.
Right.
Like, this is not. So if Edo has them in a spot where they're losing these type of games, it's not going to be good for him.
All right, finally, I want to talk about the most important game today. We got Miami taking on Central State.
I tried to tell you, girl. I tried to tell you about Miami.
She really leans into it, don't
I tried to tell you.
How do you feel like that's going to go? I mean, that's a pretty big matchup for the
Huge matchup. They got beat by 35 last week, Central Connecticut. Gave up 400 yards passing to Cole Kelly, but hey, you know what? You're going to win.
All I got to say is it's great to be a Miami Hurricane.
No, it's not.
It really ain't.
It is not. You can't tell me that with a straight face.
There has to be some reason that it's great to be a Miami Hurricane, right?
Because you saved a cat, maybe?
That's true.
It ain't because you play football great.
We talked last week about cats, so yeah, you're right. Anyways, thanks
still
so much,
repping.
Paul.
Look at you, still repping.
Thanks, Pollack. This guy, Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer. I mean, he's clean. Anyways, he's gone. We have a game today, Soldier Field, Notre Dame taking out Wisconsin. It is a neutral site game. There's a couple of those today, but these guys talked about what it's like to play at a neutral site. Check it out.
As a kid, you dream of playing in the NFL stadium and being Notre Dame and going to Chicago. It's going to be one of those games that you won't ever forget.
It's an honor. I grew up hearing about the '85 Bears, and I'm not even close to that generation. It's very historic. I can't wait to actually step foot in the stadium.
I anticipate it being a great atmosphere. You know, certainly two schools with great fan bases.
You know, our fan base is so strong, and in particular Chicago. It'll be a great atmosphere regardless of who's louder than the others.
I think it's going to be crazy. It's a big stadium. It's going to be loud. I'm expecting a really good game.
All right, we now welcome in ESPN senior writers Adam Rittenberg and Heather Dinich, just allowing us to step our show up just slightly a little bit. And I want to start with you, Heather, because you're here in Chicago, because the committee was meeting about the expansion. Where do things stand right now? Because some things didn't happen like they were supposed to.
That's right. They hit the pause button. So originally, the presidents and chancellors who have the power to actually change the playoff were going to come here on Tuesday, and they may or may not vote, but now they're not coming at all. So what's going to happen is the 10 FBS commissioners and Notre Dame athletic director Jack Swarbrick are still going to meet. Here's the bottom line, okay? The playoff is going to expand at some point. Nobody knows when. Nobody knows exactly how many teams it's going to be. There's still a general consensus that 12 is the most favorable number. Adam's putting his thumbs down. He's got his own opinion on that. And the timetable is unknown, but I've heard 2024 is the most realistic start if that were to happen before the end of this current 12-year contract. But they have a lot of hurdles. There are a lot of questions that remain. Some commissioners are still talking about the possibility of 8 teams. Adam's thumb will go up for that. So we'll see what happens. But the presidents are not coming to Chicago. There's not going to be a vote. They've hit the pause button. They've got a lot of work yet to do.
Okay, so let's get over here to Adam, because we got immediately a thumbs down on 12. Why do you think, what do you think it should be, 8?
Absolutely. You guys, they can accomplish everything with 8 that they want. It's the idea of expanding a playoff is to nationalize it, to get more of the country involved. You can do that with 8. You can get all the power conference champions in. You can also have a group of 5 top conference champion in, and you can have a couple of at-large spots. And Notre Dame certainly is in that mix to get an at-large spot, but they're competing right now with conference champions for 4. They'd be guaranteed 2 at-large spots in an 8-team playoff if they went that way. So I think you can accomplish everything you want to do by expanding the playoff at 8. Going bigger is greedy. Yep. SEC's greedy. Big Ten's greedy. You can get everything accomplished with 8.
No.
Love 8. Love 8.
I mean, I will say this, though. I feel like the benefit, no matter what, is I think that payoff of that potential upset is probably worth it, right? Where you get the highest seed beating a number 1 or something like that, right?
Not gonna happen.
Well, here's
Probably not. Probably not.
Right. There are certain things that won't happen because none of the group of 5 commissioners are going to vote for any playoff that doesn't have automatic qualifiers, where one of their conference champions is guaranteed a spot. So unless you have that, you're missing 5 votes. Greg Sankey, the SEC commissioner, is not going to vote for an automatic qualifier 8-team playoffs. 8 best teams, you could probably get the SEC to vote for that. Notre Dame Athletic Director Jack Swarbrick and his president, I don't think that they would like an 8-team playoff with automatic qualifiers.
Right.
And remember, this has to be unanimous. That's why the presidents aren't here, because before the presidents can vote on it, the commissioners have to agree on it, and they're not there yet.
That makes sense.
Could you go 12 with a cap on how many teams per league? I'd be more open to that. 3 as the cap because you want to have diversity.
That would make sense.
That's
Yeah.
the point.
Right. That would make sense. Yeah.
It doesn't need to be the SEC and then just one team from these other little conferences.
You don't want 12 SEC teams? You don't want SEC teams?
12 SEC teams at the college football playoff. Okay, so that's obviously, of course, not happening this year. We have 4 teams going into the CFP, and this season there has been a record 19 ranked teams that have lost in the first few weeks of the college football season, which is unprecedented. So, if you were to start the playoff right now, let's start with Adam. Who do you have as your top 4 going into the college football playoff?
Yeah, all the SEC hate, but you got to go Alabama and Georgia 1 and 2. I think Oregon has maybe the most impressive win of the season at Ohio State, even though Ohio State's down right now. And I like Penn State. Penn State went on the road to Wisconsin, one of the toughest places in the country to win a game. They got it done. It wasn't pretty, but they made it happen. They beat the defending MAC champion Ball State, but then they took care of Auburn last week. So their resume matters. I don't understand the people that are putting Oklahoma in the top 4. What is the point? What have they done? It shouldn't matter.
I will not say my top 4 then.
So for me, it's Alabama, Georgia, Oregon, Penn State.
Okay, Harry, who do you got?
Heather,
who do you got? Okay.
I'll switch your mic.
Right. Okay. I was going to say Oklahoma in my top 4, but we don't have time to talk about our top 4.
Let's make your case. Come on,
Christine. Time now for the Football Town Showdown, where fans can vote for their favorite college towns on the ESPN College Football Twitter and Instagram stories, as well as SportsCenter on Snapchat. So the round 2 matchups are Oxford, Mississippi versus Morgantown, West Virginia, Tuscaloosa, Alabama versus State College, Pennsylvania, Athens, Georgia versus Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Knoxville, Tennessee versus Madison, Wisconsin. So speaking of all of those places, I haven't been to all of them. I know that you guys have been to a lot of places, Heather and Adam. So what do you think? What's one of your favorite places to visit out of those places that we just mentioned?
Well, I'm an unbiased reporter, but I'm also from Northeast Pennsylvania, and I've been to State College many times, and that is an outstanding environment, and nothing beats a white oak. At least that you guys had on that board right there. And I will tell you, I've also been to Morgantown, West Virginia, and oh man.
Where are those couches? You got to get the couches.
That's phenomenal, yeah.
For me, it's Madison, Wisconsin. But I think this is a conversation. Obviously, game day matters, but how does the town matter too? And Madison checks both boxes. Baton Rouge is great on game day. As a town, I don't know yet. But Madison, you can spend a weekend there. There's tons to do. There's great restaurants. People are always out. And then game day delivers. Incredible environment around campus. You got the jump around. Have to go to Madison if you haven't been there.
All right, so a reminder that you can vote for your favorite college town on ESPN College Football Twitter and Instagram stories, plus SportsCenter on Snapchat. Adam, Heather, thank you so much for joining us. Yesterday, we spent some time at Shed Aquarium to get some expert picks. Check this out. All right, guys, we are currently at Shed Aquarium. I'm in front of the belugas, but we're going to go hang out with some penguins and some sea lions to get some game picks. Okay, so you guys last year had a very viral clip of the penguins going to Soldier Field. Explain how that kind of went down.
Yeah, well, we do field trips with our penguins all the time. So it's just a part of their welfare, so to give them exercise, mental stimulation. So first we would do them around the aquarium regularly, and then we wanted to try to support our partners that were nearby in Chicago when they were reopening as well. So we thought it'd be a great opportunity for the penguins and also for Soldier Field.
Okay, so we're doing some picks with the penguins first. How do you feel like they're going to do with their picks?
You know, I'm not sure how well they'll do, but I think they're going to be pretty good.
So the Penguins' picks were a little bit inconclusive, but if I were to read into it, I think they chose Wisconsin. Let's see what the Sea Lions do. Wisconsin with the dub. Okay, so everybody chose Wisconsin. I mean, that's what I saw. I don't know if that's what you saw. So that's our time here at Shed Aquarium. Wisconsin's gonna win. Oh, get that thing out of here.
Okay, guys, but before we get back started here, you saw the bee earlier in the show. It made a reappearance, and Christine got. But yeah, go ahead. Yeah, well, picks, right?
Anyways,
yeah.
Fitz is in the lead, I think. No, Harry Douglas is in the lead. Let's see who they have as their upsetting. Oh, here he is. Okay, Harry Douglas has 17 points. Fitz has 13.
Look at that. Hey.
I'm in third. Harry, I don't know what you're doing. I'm very sorry. I don't know what you're doing. Anyways, here's Fitz with his picks for this week.
Oh, another week, and I'm still undefeated. The streak will continue this week. Arkansas taking on Texas A&M without their starting quarterback. I love the Arkansas defense. Book it. That one's coming in for me. I'm going to keep it going. I should be in first place. Harry, what do you got?
Guess what time it is? It's time to pick my upset of the week. Yes, the best time of the week. So I'm going to go with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish over the Wisconsin Badgers. Yes, I'm feeling a little lucky this week. So since I'm feeling lucky, I'm going with Jack Cohen. Yes, Notre Dame Fighting Irish quarterback, former Wisconsin Badger. I think he has something to prove, that he's the man and not Graham Marks. Now, with that being said, I think Notre Dame is finally going to put together a complete game. And since I'm feeling lucky, I have on my overalls. Don't mind me. That's just my business. And also, since I'm feeling lucky, the Powerball is $523 million. So that's why I went and bought a whole bunch of lotto tickets. Yo, Christine, who you got? Are you feeling lucky? I know I am.
What is Harry Douglas wearing?
Not enough, honestly.
Okay, anyways, I'm going to go Kansas State or Oklahoma State over Kansas State. That's my pick. I'm a big Big 12 person, so I'm just going to take that one. Harry, who do you have? Whew.
Big 12 person. That's tough life. I've got Texas Tech over Texas. I don't feel very confident in it, but oh my goodness gracious, I need some points.
Also a Big 12 person. Okay, listen, here's the deal. If I happen to win this week, I will give Harry one of my points, okay? You need at least one.
I do not need charity.
If you lose. No, we won't do that. Anyways, okay, so Chicago food, it's a polarizing thing. Yeah. I personally like deep dish. Harry thinks it's a bottle of marinara.
That's sweet.
Marinara sauce.
Yep.
Anyways, we got some Chicago style dogs. Okay, so I really didn't understand what exactly was going on with these dogs, but now I fully understand. There's a bunch of veggies on it. Can you explain to me what a Chicago hot dog is?
Absolutely. So right here we have a Chicago hot dog. Okay, it consists of an all-beef sausage hot dog. It has tomatoes, green relish, onions, sport peppers, pickles, a poppy seed bun, and some celery salt, and from Chicago's Doghouse.
Who came up with this? It does smell really good, but like, Why does it have all this stuff on it?
Look how beautiful that looks.
I mean, it does look beautiful.
Picture perfect there.
Yeah.
It's so delicious.
Okay, so I know that these aren't dogs, but you're obviously a Chicagoan.
I am a Chicagoan.
Okay, so how do you feel about deep dish pizza?
I love deep dish pizza. It's the best.
Harry would like to tell you why he hates it.
If you can eat a pizza with a spoon comfortably, that's not a pizza. That's like porridge or like soup or like a casserole or something like that.
What's your favorite type of pizza?
I like all pizza. I don't think that they need to be compared. I think that I can enjoy both.
You can.
And I like that. Anyways, we also like Game Day. That starts literally in about 10 seconds on ESPN. If you're watching in the app, you can watch right here. And do not forget to watch all of the games on ESPN today. Don't get stung by bees, guys. It's not fun. We'll see you next week.